Yesterday we got rained out, but we're back today. This is the first of many attempts to rally Christians together. The goal is to eventually get to Washington, D.C. and to call Christians, and I'm saying Christians, I'm being exclusive when I say that, people who are not afraid to say that Jesus Christ is the only way. People who are not appeasers, not compromisers, not afraid to be controversial. I have a whole lot of things that I wrote down, and I'm almost afraid of what I'm going to say. This is not a sermon. I only have one Bible text, and everyone who's heard me preach over the years know that's something that you'll never hear come out of my mouth. My concern is with the direction that our nation is going. There are a few dates that stand out in our minds as Americans in our history. They stand as memorials. Some of these dates we'll never forget. They'll be passed down from generation to generation as important dates. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. November 22nd, 1963, the assassination of John F. Kennedy. April 4th, 1968, the murder of probably the greatest civil rights leader in our time, Martin Luther King Jr. Then, for this generation, which this date has connected a lot of generations. It has connected those who have seen the tragedy of Pearl Harbor to September 11th, 2001, when our nation was assaulted by cowards. To me, it didn't matter what religion they were. They weren't defined in that moment by their religion. They were defined in that moment by their cowardice. They showed us our vulnerability as a nation. But they also sparked something in us. They sparked in us our national heritage. If you remember very clearly, everywhere you went, someone was saying that prayer. They didn't realize it was a prayer when they said, "God bless America." It had become a new American idiom. And so much, I was riding past a bar, of all places, where they sell alcohol, and probably people leave out of there drunk and drive home drunk. But on that bar, they had taken off their advertisement for Bud Light and put on that bar a marquee that said, "God bless America." I thought to myself, boy, how do we need God to bless America. But just like Americans, we're so full of sensationalism and trying to find out what the next thing is that's going to excite us. Never satisfied, always having to have something new and exciting happen. Pushing the envelope has become a part of our culture. With reckless abandon, we seek new thrills. The thrill of that day, that moment, had quickly descended. And we forgot about God bless America. I haven't. I have enough sense and I know enough history to know that that is our country's only hope. It's for the God of the Scriptures to be brought back to the forefront of our culture. The reason that I'm here is not for me. I have two churches. I can preach anytime I want. One church has several hundred people, another church is growing. I have a radio broadcast. I can talk anytime I want. But I'm not here today to talk for me. This is about you. And this is about your freedom as an American and your freedom as a Christian American. To be able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, and in whatever manner you choose. At the summit of the Bill of Rights stands the cornerstone, and I repeat, the cornerstone of our American heritage. It literally encapsulates everything that we hold to be dear and true as Americans, and that's our freedom. When 9/11 happened, it not only hurt us, but it incited us, but it also reminded us that we were free people. And it also reminded us how much we cherished our freedom. When the Constitution, which is the cornerstone of the Bill of Rights, it's the cornerstone of our American heritage, when it was ratified, our founders had a vision and they had a dream that every person that had an expression, that every person that had a dream, that every person that had an ideal, that had a thought, that had a conscience, will be able to express that conscience without the interference of government or tyranny or rule. The last thing we want is for a new federalism to emerge in our culture, where we have Big Brother looking over our shoulders, and we are not capable as individual people who can determine self-government for themselves of what they want to hear and don't want to hear. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech. I'm going to stop right there. You would think as a preacher that I would be here talking about freedom of religion. No. See, religion is personal in that sense. You can take me and put me in jail. You can tie me up. You can cut out my tongue. What happened to Christians all around the world? Christians in China have died for their faith in the 21st century. Christians in Somalia have died for their faith in the 21st century, but you won't hear that on the news.